SCA Minhag of the Week. Can we eat nuts on Rosh Hashanah? Yes, we can. Let's explain what's going on. In Shulchan Aruch, Maran Rabbi Yosef Karo brings down the list of symbolic foods eaten on the night of Rosh Hashanah. Afterwards, Muram Rabbi Moshe Israelish in his Haggahot, in his glosses to Shulchan Aruch, writes, Yesh medakdekim shelo le'echol egozim. There are those that are scrupulous to not eat walnuts. And nowadays, due to social media, people think this is either a law or a custom, and it is neither. It is not a law, and it's definitely not our custom. Let me explain. What is the source of this statement by Muram? The source is Maharil. Maharil was a rabbi from Germany from the 14th century, and he writes very clearly, כל דבר המביא קיחה וניעה אסור לאכול בראש שנה, ומטעם זה יש נזהרים לאכול אגוזים בראש שנה קודם התקיעות משום דמרבים לאחות. Anything that can cause a person to have excess phlegm, mucus, coughing, etc. is forbidden to be eaten on Rosh Hashanah, and due to this reason there are those that are careful to not eat walnuts on Rosh Hashanah before the blowing of the shofar, because it causes this extra wetness, which is obviously would cause a person to cough or to be constantly clearing their throat. Now, plain and simple, we don't eat while we're praying. We don't eat before blowing of the shofar. And his concern over here is that either the person blowing the shofar is going to not be able to blow properly because he's going to have that excess mucus, or the person that's supposed to be listening is going to be clearing his throat or coughing and not hear properly, or is going to be interrupting the person next to him due to his constantly clearing his throat. That's point number one. Point number two, we know now scientifically that this is completely untrue, that walnuts do not cause mucus, they do not cause phlegm, they do not cause a person to cough, unless, of course, the person has an allergy to walnuts or other nuts, and then they could cause such a reaction. That's point number one. Point number two, later on, a different reason was attached to not eating walnuts, and they said egoz in gematria, the numerical value of egoz, which is 17, is equivalent to the word het, sin. Technically, also incorrect, because the word het technically equals 18. They tell you, well, the word het has a silent aleph, so we look at it as if it's 17 and not 18. The word egoz equals 17. 17 equals tob. Tob is good. And therefore there is nothing wrong with egoz. Egoz is good. Now, we need to realize that the Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai, a great Sephardi Hacham who traveled the world and lived in the 17th and 18th centuries and wrote extensively. He wrote close to 70 books on all aspects of the Torah, and throughout the Shulchan Aruch he added his own glosses as well. He mentions nothing about a custom of not eating nuts on Rosh Hashanah. He talks about not eating salty foods, or overly spicy foods, or sour foods, or lemony foods, or vinegary foods, or very dark looking foods, but he mentions nothing about not eating nuts. In fact, in his commentary on Sefer Hasidim, he writes about how Shir Hashirim Rabbah, the Midrash on Shir Hashirim, which has a pasuk, El Ginat Egoz Yarati, comparing Am Yisrael to the walnut, and how, even though all the different types of spiritual adversaries come up against Yisrael, Yisrael is like a walnut. It has a hard outer shell. We're resilient. We're able to be, we take the abuse, but then we're able to wash off these avonot, wash off all the sins, and we come out following the Torah and Mitzvot. So there's nothing wrong connecting egoz over here to Am Yisrael. Also, the concept of saying, well, we don't We want to avoid the word egoz on Rosh Hashanah because it's like the word het. Also, in the same section where Muram is putting his hagahot about not eating walnuts, he talks about doing seder v'tashlich. And seder v'tashlich is about what? Throwing away the sins. Like the pasuk says, v'tashlich b'msulot yam kol hattotam. Throwing out into the depths of the sea all our sins. So the word sins are mentioned in the same paragraph, and we are not attaching ourselves to sins by eating nuts. We're attaching ourselves to good and showing how we are the good aspect of the walnut. Now, in all these books that you see behind me, in each and every episode, these are books of our Sephardic communities, of their minhagim, and no community has a custom of not eating walnuts on Rosh Hashanah. We eat walnuts, we eat almonds, we eat pistachios. We have no problem whatsoever with this. So enjoy the holiday, enjoy your foods. Tizku l'shamina bot ne'imot v'tovot.